The hacking group that infiltrated Sony last week has released a trove of documents, many different secrets revealed, but one of the most interesting revelations coming out of these newly released documents is the incredible profitability of some of Sony's movies, which by itself perhaps is not particularly interesting news, but in light of some of their labor practices, their willingness to outsource massive numbers of American jobs, while saying that they're not making nearly enough money, this profitability might come as bad news. They might not want you to know about this. So here are some of the quotes coming out of these documents. Curtis Kreider, the senior VP of finance, said, "Currently, approximately $1 billion in production spending can be expected to deliver between 500 and 600 million in profits. Through his continued focus on financial discipline, Doug Belgrad, the Columbia Pictures president, hopes to improve that ratio to a point where just 800 to 900 million in production spending delivers that same 500 to 600 million in profits." And more specifically, just to get an idea of the sheer amount of profits that individual films have generated just over the past year or two, This Is the End earned 50 million in profits. Again, not earnings, profits. Grown Ups 2 earned 448 million. Grown Ups 2 earned $48 million in profit. Did they not advertise for it?
They seriously shot a walkthrough rehearsal and then printed it. That's what happened in Grown Ups.
I don't even know what
made
was
more
Grown
than
Ups
Captain
2.
Phillips.
Adam Sandler, David Spade, Chris
Here's
Rock.
the other thing in those
phoning
leaks
it in.
is
We'll get
they
back to
also
those.
released a ton of Adam Sandler leaks where you see complaint after complaint about making more Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah, they do not seem happy with their willingness to just set him up in nice Caribbean spots for vacations with his best buddies. Some of the other numbers, by the way, I can't get over that Grown Ups 2 made more money than Captain Phillips, American Hustle, Elysium.
Did you see Captain Phillips?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
It was good. I found it to be kind of boring. American Hustle made 27 million. One Direction, This Is Us made 18 million. Elysium made 18 million, which is kind of a letdown, but not overall that bad of a movie.
Should be This Is We.
And Monuments Men made $10 million. Now, the reason this is significant, as I teased earlier, and as I'm sure you will expand on, Wes, is that Sony has done quite a bit of firing, quite a bit of outsourcing, and quite a bit of bellyaching about how difficult it is to turn any kind of profit. One of the quotes coming out of this leak is that 230 employees were reportedly let go so that the company could outsource a portion of their special effects work. And in that section of the documents, they went on about how, oh my God, we're getting so good and efficient at cutting down some of the waste, like 230 American jobs. So you had a problem with this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been a screenwriter for, I don't know, 10 years or something. And, you know, our lives, like, ended with the strike. Because it used to be you would do work and you would get paid to do the work. Now you only get paid when the movie, like, gets made.
Yeah.
So you have to put in, you know, 4 or 5 months writing it on spec for free, even though these people have already made plenty of movies. But, oh, no, we have to wait till it goes into production. And they cut our health care. They cut, you know, costs for everything. They cut the rates that they're going to pay on different outlets and distribution channels. And always saying, oh, we're broke, we're broke, we're broke. Dude, making profits like of $500 million off $1 billion capital is astounding. And it's within a year or two for return on investment. So you're talking about one of the most profitable businesses in the world. Not just that, these guys, they're supported by tax credits in a lot of poor southern states and New Mexico and other places.
Maybe here now.
Oh, and I'm sure in California.
In a desperate attempt to get the film business back.
As they're outsourcing all the jobs to other people, you know, and not just that. I mean, let's think about those 230 employees that they let go. You know, what was that, 2-3 weeks ago, right leading up to the holidays? Hey guys, thanks for doing all the work. We found some guys who will do it in China for like, you know, nothing. So see you later.
Yeah.
I mean, and now they're going to get the federal government involved to try and figure out who did this hack. My guess is it's not North Korea. You just fired 230 IT people, and you're wondering why suddenly all these files appear?
North Korea can't get a fucking bowl of rice to half of its fucking citizens. They didn't hack Sony.
That doesn't want to. I think that's the main problem.
North Korea can't fucking hack Sony. South Korea, perhaps. North Korea did not hack Sony. They can't do anything. They can't do anything. They can't
I
even
don't
really.
think it's impossible that they could have hacked Sony. I think that it's less likely now with these revelations, but it's not impossible.
When it was great, when my father would talk about in the 1970s and 80s all the time, when they were big during the Cold War, big conspiracies about what the Soviets had done, he would be like, calm down. they can't flush their fucking toilets, okay? They didn't do this, all right? They got a lot of nuclear weapons. They can blow us up the map. Pay attention to what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're too, no. They didn't, and North Korea, that's an absurd, and the idea was because the interview is coming out this week. I'm seeing it this evening with James Franco and Seth Rogen.
You're going with them?
And it mocks, yeah, totally. They're having me. Well, I mean, they've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
We went to high school together. And the idea, because they make fun of Kim Jong-un.
That he would be so pissed. And look, he seems petty enough that he would want to hack
His
in
dad
response
loved
to that.
movies. His dad loved movies so much. People forget this, just to remember. His dad loved movies so much, and they're so incapable of making a movie in North Korea. That's why they didn't hack Sony. They're so incapable of making a movie in... also, if they'd hacked it, then the letters that they wrote to the employees, they would have been in that weird language when they translate a Chinese menu in.
No. A lot of it was.
Oh, it was?
But it had the feeling when you read it that it was like a white guy pretending to be a Korean guy.
You know, it is with great pleasure that we welcome you to Yenqing Palace for this favorite meal of day. For you are our #1 customer friend. Yeah. Trust me, North Korea would have betrayed it.
Okay, despite the fact that it might be unlikely that they did it, there is one group that is benefiting from the idea that it's North Korea, and that will, of course, be Sony, who's saying that they now need not just their own private, cybersecurity people to deal with this, to protect themselves from future hacks, but no, they need to get the United States government in to protect them, and that's going to save them a ton of money.
And
that's more
to be fair,
subsidies.
this is actually something else I know about, because I used to work with a company that did copyright protection and is actually a back end of a lot of complicated security programs for peer-to-peer networks. And we all went into the studios and told them for years, hey, we can stop the leaks on everything. It costs this much money, and this is how you do it, and blah, 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 blah. And that's not our job. That's the MPAA. They're going to get the federal government to do something about it. Yeah. So these people that are making enormous profits, who don't pay their people well, they're going to get the federal government now to guard the shop that they didn't want to guard.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
but
I'm glad
not
that
just
they
that.
made that decision.
Not just that. Now take it one step further and think: our Democratic leaders, when they constantly shut down traffic in Los Angeles for Barack Obama to come here, they're spending their time with these specific people.
Yeah.
Okay, that are doing this. These greedy fucking pigs. That is who is setting the agenda in the Democratic Party, and they've been doing it for 20 or 30 years.
You want capitalism to be unchecked? This is what happens when capitalism is completely unchecked, is that you have a company that, as Wes pointed out, it's not just that $1 billion returns $1.5 billion. It's not just that you get a $500 million return. You get it quickly. You don't get it in 9 years. You get it in 9 months. You get it in a quick turnaround.
And it's a larger chunk faster than real estate, energy. I mean, even as much as like an oil company.
And that company has a meeting and a document which says currently approximately $1 billion in production pending can be expected to deliver $500 million to $600 million in profits, wrote company controller Curtis Kreider, right? So that he can write that, and that the reaction to that is not, wow,
holy
man, the
shit.
Christmas party's going to be off the rails this year, right? This is fantastic. Who can I fuck? I feel great, right?
I'm sure they also do that.
And instead, the reaction is, now my aim is to reduce production overhead to 800, 900 million and still get that 1.5 billion.
But these are the heartless fucking psychos that are in charge of the majority of large corporations in this country.
Okay, but here it is in a way that I can relate to, because these are the guys who made This Is the End. It's okay. When you're making widgets or you're building aircraft carriers or you're making Boeing jets or you're building stuff for the Defense Department. But here, these are guys who make grown-ups too. This is so relatable. These are the guys who work with Adam Sandler and work with Kevin James on Mall Cop and then Bradley Cooper.
Drones.
I liked American Hustle, right? So, and that these guys take a look at a quick turnaround of $500 million and think, I could ruin 500 lives and we might be able to reduce this by 100 million. And everyone's like, oh, good thinking.
Let's
Curtis,
do that. Yeah.
Curtis, thanks.
No,
Good work.
You're promoted.
Right. I mean, look, I got it. This is obvious. But
They want to make the money.
That is a downer, man. What is enough? How much money is enough?
That's the mentality of everybody in these large multinationals is whatever the last guy did, I'm going to fucking squeeze more out of the American public. Fuck those Americans.
Yeah.
And it just keeps escalating and escalating But you have to understand, this is who our politicians are talking to. This is who they have their meals with. These are the country clubs they go to. These are the vacations they go on. These are their donors.